Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast number 2092. The topic is Q&A, and the title is, What Stories Are You Writing Now? One of my business clients, I really like that service, is we get to talk every week via Zoom, chit-chat about life, chit-chat about business, their personal development. And with one of my recent clients, they asked a fun question that led to a fun conversation. And I wanted to share that conversation in today's podcast. The question was, what's motivating you right now? So we were talking about their goals and what they're working towards, not only in business, but also in their personal development. And how they have this desire, this fire to achieve a lot. But they struggle sometimes with the day-to-day motivation to do it. We all know that there's the awesome aspect of like movie montages where Rocky Balboa, trains in the wilderness for an 8-minute segment and then wins the championship and all of his dreams are fulfilled. But in real life, it doesn't happen in 8 minutes. In real life, it doesn't happen in 8 days. In real life, it doesn't happen in 8 months. In real life, it takes a long time. In real life, often what we have to do is a slow grind. It's not exciting. It's not super fun. There isn't music in the background. We don't get cool outfits. It's just like there's not the glamour to it that what we see in movies or we see in people's stories on social media. The real life aspect of working towards our goals and our dreams is tedious. It's slow. It's boring. So it can be challenging to stay motivated through that process. So I really liked their question of what's motivating you right now. And my answer, I came back and told them about a podcast I had watched on YouTube. So yes, it's a podcast, but I watched it rather than listen to it. So I was watching it some on YouTube and then listening to it some in the background during a workout. But it was on the channel The Diary of a CEO. It's a podcast by Stephen Bartlett in the UK, and he had an interview with Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr is a comedian from the UK. If you're familiar with him at all, he's pretty raunchy. So his jokes are pretty rough. But he is an interesting man. He's an interesting person. And he had a lot of really interesting just viewpoints, and like the conversation was very interesting. He was actually interviewed twice for the podcast because of how good the first one was and the response that it got from people. They brought him back for another interview. And one thing he had said in the interview has been a recent motivator for me. So he said, in 25 years, you would likely give everything you have to be where you are today, both age and health-wise. What are you doing with your age and your health today that you'd wish you had done 25 years from now? And I thought that was just freaking awesome. And for a lot of reasons, one of the main reasons is I've talked to clients and worked with people over the years, like thousands of people, and there's almost always a sense of regret that they wish they had started sooner or they wish they had done more. And there's that, this desire to have made more of the time that we had in order to make the present time we have a lot easier or a little more enjoyable. So it made me think for myself of 25 years ago. So 25 years ago, I was 15 years old, and I actually started my fitness journey my health and fitness kind of lifestyle development at 15 years old. On my 15th birthday, I was teasing a friend, and we were kind of like play fighting, and they said, well, at least I'm not fat. And I remember I kind of thought to myself, I was like, well, damn, I didn't think of myself as fat. But when they said that, I was like, well, that kind of stinks. Like, I don't want them to be able to say that of me. But it's my fault that I allowed it to be true. If they can say it of me and have it be true, it's not their fault for saying it, it's my fault for being it. If I didn't like it, if I don't like something to be true of me, it's not the person that points it out that's a problem. It's the point that allowed it, the person who allowed it to be possible. So I was mad at myself. And I was like, dang it, anyhow, this is bullshit. I was mad at myself. So on that day, on my 15th birthday, I decided to do 250 push-ups and 250 sit-ups every single day. My thought was that the push-ups would grow my chest and my arms, and the sit-ups would get rid of my fat belly. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But that's what started my journey. That's what started, and that's what has led to where I am today. Fitness is my career now. It's a significant component of my life. In the past 25 years of working out, I've actually never missed more than 7 days in a row. I have taken a week off from like a Monday to a Monday twice in 25 years. Once was due to physical pain. I had an inflammation issue that was causing me to throw up if I tried to lift weights, so I just went for walks instead. The other one was a mental injury. I had anxiety and just didn't know how to manage that, so I had to kind of work through that. And again, walking rather than exercise became kind of like a go-to for the physical movement for a week as I tried to sort that out. So I've had actually several years where I trained every single day. What I realize is the story that I get to tell today about how I've worked out, for 25 years and have never taken more than a week off. That's a pretty cool story. I can say that I've trained every single day for a year, and I've actually done it for multiple years. Well, that's a pretty cool story. But those stories were written 25 years ago. I get to tell a story today of something I've done in my past that makes me proud of myself. That's a pretty cool feeling. And that got me thinking of other stories. So when I was trying to gain weight, I had read in a magazine where a bodybuilder, Lee Priest from Australia, he ate a whole chicken, a loaf of bread, and drank a gallon of milk every day. And that's how he got bigger. And I was like, well, I don't know where in the world I'm going to get chickens because I lived kind of in the middle of nowhere at the time. And loaf of bread, I was like, well, carbs just make you fat. So I'll just drink milk. And there's more carbs in milk than there is in bread. But I didn't know that stuff at that age. So I drank a gallon of milk a day, and I did it for 2 years. For 2 years, I drank a gallon of milk a day. That is crazy. In my journey of trying to gain weight and lose weight, I have lost 50 pounds in 10 weeks or less. I know I did it at least twice. I think I might have done it 3 times. But one time I lost 50 pounds in just 8 weeks. So yes, that's pretty crazy. But I lost 50 pounds in 8 weeks. When I was trying to grow my mental toughness, I did a 2,000 repetition leg press workout. I've even done a 1,000 rep squat workout, and I was such a jerk that I made my mom do it as well because she was doubting herself getting ready for a competition. And I remembered when I did the 1,000 squat workout and how you think 1,000 squats is just impossible, but you sit there and you do it, rep by rep by rep, and you get it done. And that really builds confidence. It builds your belief in what you can achieve. So when my mom was doubting her ability to do a bodybuilding show, I was like, hey, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to do this workout. You're going to do 1,000 squats. So I had her do 1,000 squats on a Smith machine, and she actually did it. So good for her. Total badass moment. If you ever want to believe in yourself, go do 1,000 repetitions of squats in a workout, and you will never have doubt again. You will, but you'll always have that story to lean on. I've done a lot of cool shit. in my training. As a coach, I've helped clients earn aesthetic pro cards like IFBB pro cards and NPC, like so drug tested and non-tested federations. I've had powerlifters earn top 50 rankings, world records. I've helped people get off medication. I've helped people become a person that they never thought was possible of themselves. All of those stories are amazing. They're really freaking cool. Thinking through those past stories, it then made me wonder, what stories am I writing now? What am I doing now that I'll look back on in 5, 10, 20 years and be proud of, be excited to tell the story of? One of the challenges and kind of life just interesting projects that I'm working on is at the end of 2023, I closed the public location of Brutal Iron Gym, and I now train people exclusively online. Meredith and I were able to buy a beautiful home at the end of 2023, and it has a nice full basement, has an office for me. We have a beautiful home gym that you'll see in videos on Instagram. Bathroom, storage closet, all the good stuff. Got a pool in the backyard. Just really, really, really fortunate to be where we are in life. And it's a pretty cool, amazing moment. Being able to help people, but being able to take better care of myself. When I've trained clients, before I owned Brutal Iron Gym, I opened Brutal Iron Gym in 2011, but I've been a trainer since I was 16 years old. So I've been doing it for a really long time. And I tended to always put other people ahead of me. If a client needed to work out at a certain time, I would train them when it was convenient for them, and I'd find a way to get my own training in, even if I had to, miss a meal or wasn't hydrated, and that led to injuries, it led to underperformance. I really sacrificed myself. And it's not a woe is me story. I made those decisions. Those were my choices. But I sacrificed a lot of myself in order to pursue the goal of being a good coach and helping other people. It really was motivating. It fired me up. It was exciting. So those were choices I made, and I'm happy I made those choices. But it did lead to I didn't achieve as much as I had wanted to achieve in my own goals, my own dreams. And I didn't take care of myself. I got a lot of injuries, and I got just kind of beat up emotionally, mentally, physically. So when I had the chance, the opportunity to change the business model to still be able to help people and actually be able to reach out and help even more people, but also take better care of myself, to be able to work from home, to have a better work-life balance, to be able to share more time with Meredith. Why would I not take that? Why would I not try? Right? So that's a pretty big story that I'm in the middle of. I'm still writing that story every day. Every day I have to show up as a husband, as a business owner, as a representative of my future self. Every day I'm writing this story, writing my story. And right now that's a huge motivator for me. So when the client asks what's motivating me right now, it's the question, what's the story I'm writing today? The story that I'm writing with my next action. Am I honoring my future self? Am I making the best decisions for what I want my story to be? Am I doom scrolling on social media for 20, 15 minutes or so? Or am I maybe using that time to create content that will help people and grow the business? Am I proactively filtering what's important versus what's urgent versus what's like an easy busy, where I get to check the box that I'm doing something, but it's not really meaningful. It's not what I should be doing. It's just an easy thing that allows me to feel busy. I need to make sure that I'm attending to the most impactful things. Moment by moment, decision by decision, action by action, every day. And when I'm engaged in an activity, am I giving it my best? Am I analyzing what best actually really is? I want to look back in 5, 10, 20 years and remember these days with fondness, with happiness, with pride. Did I soak in every moment? Did I make the most of my time? One of the things that super bums me out is I can't stop time from passing. There are moments in my life whenever I wish I could just pause. Pause time and just live in that moment. This is going to be a little personal insight, but Meredith and I got a dog recently. Her name's Daisy. She's freaking fantastic. There was a night the other night where we were laying on the couch before bed. We usually lay on the couch for the goal is to lay down for 30 minutes and have a family cuddle time, but we both all fall asleep in 5 minutes. But Meredith and Daisy were sleeping on the couch, and I just looked over and I was like, this is it. This is life. You're sitting in a beautiful home that you never thought you'd ever be able to afford, and good God, it's just amazing. Got a wonderful, amazing human being as a wife and a life partner. Got this cute, cuddly dog. And everyone's happy. The house is secure. Meredith's happy and sleeping. She's safe. Daisy's happy and sleeping, and she's safe. And it's just that moment you're like, oh, I wish I could stay here. I wish I could just capture this moment and be able to feel it, be able to see it, be able to recall it, just be able to experience it again whenever I want. That's what I want to look at. That's what I want to focus on, is I can't stop time from passing. But I want to be able to get the most from that time. I want to be present. When I'm with Meredith, I always ask myself and I always focus on, am I really here? Am I really with her? Am I actively listening? Am I appreciating the time together? Am I hearing her? Am I honoring her trust in me and, her partnership and friendship? And, I want to be the best I can be, for her. And when I'm working out, I want to be the best I can be for me. Am I pushing myself as hard as I should be? Am I making the best exercise choices, or, am I just choosing some lazy exercises rather than setting up something that's better for me but maybe a little elaborate? Am I focusing on the best quality of work? Am I really taking my time to feel the mind-muscle connection, to stretch out and, make the eccentric movements as miserable as possible? Am I getting the most from what I'm doing? That's my focus. That's my motivation at the moment. What stories am I writing right now? And am I writing the best story possible? I want to be present. And I want to make the most of what I'm doing. That's my focus. That's my motivation. If you're interested, I would encourage you to check out those podcasts. Again, the podcast is The Diary of a CEO. And the title, if you want to look it up on YouTube, you could search Jimmy Carr, so Jimmy, Jimmy. Carr is Carr. And the first interview is titled The Easiest Way to Live a Happier Life. And the second interview is titled There's a Crisis Going On with Men. And that would still be very helpful for women as well, by the way. But I think it would be meaningful. I think you would find something of value in it. If you listen with intent, you focus on the lessons, and then you try to apply those lessons. There's a lot of good stuff in those podcasts. There's a lot of good stuff out in the world that can challenge your way of thinking, that can wake you up and light a fire under you and, motivate you to make the most of what you can. So I would encourage you to write a story today that you'll be proud of in 25 years. Okay? If you need anything, if you have any questions, reach out on our website, www.brutalirongym.com. There's a Contact Us page, so just click that and send me a message anytime you need anything. If you like the podcast, please share the podcast. The more people we share it with, the more people we can help. If you share it on social media, that does reach the most amount of people, but even if you just share it in a conversation with a friend, if they have a fitness question, training, nutrition, whatever, just let them know about the podcast, encourage them to reach out, and let them know I'll make a podcast for them if they ever want to submit a question or a topic on the website. And then if you like the podcast, please consider donating to support the podcast, which you can do on our website. And then if you like the information we share in the podcast, I always do share other information on our social media pages on Instagram and YouTube. You can find us and follow us under the name Brutal Iron Gym. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.